Thank you.
Thanks.
It's a podcast.
We gotta start locking that door. That happens way too often.
Yeah.
I also don't understand the no knock.
I mean,
What if we were therapists? What if there was like a 400-pound man in here? He's like, I was molested. Again, the guy like comes in. He's like, I'm terrified people will find out that I was molested. Oh no!
yeah. And it's a fucking
Now
Amazon
I have to gain
delivery.
another 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I watched probably 3 hours of my 600-pound life.
How's it these days?
Well, I don't know. Yesterday it was like all the good stories, and those are the only ones I watch. I don't know what, like half the show now is, and maybe it's always been this way. Admittedly, I'm not a 600-pound, let's just say I'm not the biggest fan of my 600-pound life. But I feel like more often than not, it's like, they're like, it's, first of all, someone living in abject poverty. They're like, I got to do something. I got to change my life because I don't want to die. And then they have to get in a van. They put them in like the back of a car, and then they have to drive 18 hours to Houston to see that Persian guy.
The Persian lap band
and
guy.
he's like, what
Best
are
in
you
the biz.
doing? You're too much fat bitch to live. And if you want to be not fat bitch, you have to, make change. And we need to see you lose maybe 200, maybe 500 pounds before we do surgery, and then, change your life.
So you're saying the good episodes like where they get it together?
Well, yeah, but it always is. They drive to the doctor just to get weighed, like the initial consultation. So they have to like do this Oregon Trail, and then they always show they film the car from behind. Another thing they do on that show when they do like
how fat the car is.
When they do the initial like confessionals, they have the people sit on like a couch, I guess, and talk about like how eating has destroyed their life, and then they shoot them from like down here. So they make them look as like big as possible. And I tell you, on a 65-inch screen, it's like this is just this massive person. But they have to go for the initial consultation, and they get there, and then they just weigh them, and he tells them they need to lose a bunch of weight, and then they have to get back in the car, drive back to fucking Ohio, and then like try to manage the diet on themselves. I think the show pays each person like $1,500, and they tape them for a year, and then they cover like the surgery itself and then the follow-up visits afterwards. But I mean, like really they should be covering, that show is like massively popular. It's been around for a long time. I'm sure they have a massive production budget. They should be paying for like a nutritionist. Because if you just tell like somebody that has a crippling food addiction, you need to eat 1,200 calories a day, which is the diet they put them on.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's like,
That's so hard.
And they have to do it for a while too, because they have a lot of like weight to lose. It should just be they get a nutritionist also that helps them, like, and maybe they do. Maybe you just don't see that part. But anyway, the point is watching the show, like it feels like the majority of the time they get back in the fucking car, go see the doctor again. And he's like, you only lost 35 pounds. You're still a fat bitch, so we cannot do surgery. And then he sends them home. Yeah. And then it's like another year of them doing a diet without like much guidance other than like, it seems like they just give them a number, like calorie-wise.
And in the meantime, they're like literally in the Stanford prison experiment with cameras all over.
All over them, but also too, it's like they're so big that unless you have some kind of industrial scale, they don't know. They're like, well, we're gonna see how much weight I lost, and they only get to check like once a year.
Well, what about like at a county fair, like when they like weigh the biggest pumpkin?
They guess.
They guess for those?
Yeah, they guess. That's how you win the pumpkin, is by guessing the closest.
Don't they have like a livestock?
Yeah, they judge. That's pig judging. I don't know if they really have a way of weighing. The pigs. They just say that's the biggest pig to me, it looks like. Yeah. The first prize.
You think there's like a mean gay guy that's like the best pig judge?
Maybe, but
it's like, look at this bitch over here.
Probably. It's like best
looks
in
like
show.
You've been eating.
Yeah. Tyra Banks' pig contest, top pig. But last night there was a lot of success stories, and those are always fun.
They got the surgery? They did all right?
No, I watched that show.
What do you do with the skin, though? It's awful.
They cut it off.
They cut it off?
Yeah. I watch that show, and often it's like, sometimes I'll feel like, I wish I was 600 pounds just so I could lose the weight. Just so I could feel like I could
Like you had a new lease on life?
Yeah, just like,
Yeah, yeah.
like I accomplished something. Because they're, I mean, you know,
Jealous.
a little bit, yeah, honestly. I find myself jealous of the 600-pound life people off.
That's
offer.
nice though.
Yeah. Well, to have such like a tangible problem right in front of you.
Yeah, when it's like
And
something that's not, you can't really put your finger on. It's way worse.
Yeah. And it can be fixed by not doing something. You know, by depriving yourself of something. You know, there's like a, you know.
Well, it's like quitting smoking, maybe.
Yeah.
But no one celebrates that.
Yeah, right.
No one's gonna be like,
Well,
I'm so proud of
you
you.
also can't see it. Like
You can't see
you
it.
wouldn't see somebody in a year and they're like, "Oh my God, you're not vaping."
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
No
It's just-
one's.
Yeah, there was a guy Michael on the episode last night. It was very funny because he because of his size, he was like, you know, very ashamed about like going out of the house. You know, he like wouldn't like take his sons anywhere. He wouldn't go out of the house. But they have the scene where he goes to meet the doctor for the first time, and they had already lived in Houston. He goes to meet the doctor, and you know, he's like explaining that he doesn't really like going out of the house because he's ashamed.
So fat, yeah.
And then the wife is like, you know, they're getting ready to go. She's like, "You got your hat?" And he's like, "Yep." And then he puts on, he's wearing like a bowler hat with autism puzzle pieces around like the band. And it's like, well, I don't want to leave the house and nobody makes fun of me. Where's the dumbest hat I've ever seen in my entire life? But that guy did it. It's like he's actually on Instagram. You can look him up. It's unreal.
He's jacked, or he's just skinny.
Yeah, he's like lost all the weight. I mean, he lost like 700 pounds.
Is there? I've never watched that show. Is there like a common pathology? Do they have like feeders in their lives, or they went through a trauma? That
Yeah, often it requires, I think, the other person to be enabling them. I mean, I feel like like older ones I watched, there was always like definitely like there was one where this guy's sneaking Taco Bell into the hospital for his wife, and the doctor comes in. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? How dare you bring this? You kill him to bring this. That's what you're doing."
He's so calm about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even. That guy is wild.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's like, imagine being a production company. You're like, we want to do a show about lap band surgery and people changing their lives. Let's find the least charismatic man in the entire fucking world to be the doctor.
He's the doctor for everyone on the show?
Yeah. They always go to him.
So he's the one that's making all the money.
He also, too, I used to feel like he was in a hospital and now he's in a strip mall somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a private practice or whatever. Yeah. But,
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was at some big hospital in like the big old the Bob's Big Boy Center. At, you know,
in Hurston.
Yeah, Hurston International Hospital.
I think I saw only one, but I think it was a woman who lost a child, and then the next child, it was his mom who was like just enabling it.
Yeah.
And she was like, hamburgers are good for you.
Yeah,
You need to eat.
often they have like a history of like sexual abuse or something.
Really?
Yeah. And then, you know, I mean, obviously further isolation from being so big
And being in their house.
from being in their house, and then if you find comfort in food, I mean, it's like, that's the worst addiction to have is food, because you need to develop moderation.
Right.
There's no other addiction like that.
Yeah, you can't have like just a little crack.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like full abstinence.
Yeah, you just have to smoke less crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
Mm-hmm. But I was dying when he put that hat on. You got your hat? Yep.
Is it, okay, also, what percentage of them have normal-sized partners? And what percentage of them have also fat as shit partners?
Yeah, I don't know, like a percentage-wise.
Is it more common that they have a normal-sized one, or more common that they have like a fucking...
That's the other thing, too, is they all seem to like to have relatively stable home lives.
Yeah, they have
but
girlfriends.
it's also, too, it's like shot a certain way, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they edited it to...
How do they pay for their houses and their food and stuff?
What do you mean?
It just seems like it's like a
A lot
massive
of food.
investment.
Well, they usually have jobs, you know, work from home and stuff.
Yeah.
The funniest one was the guy with the red hair, whose dad was like, he loved his dad. Him and his dad loved each other. They lived together, but he just plays Xbox Live all day long. Oof. Plays Xbox Live all day long. And let me see if I can find the picture of him sitting in that bed. 600.
It was like one of those bedrooms that you see on Reddit, where it's just a mattress and a TV and a console.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Casey King.
It's a cool name.
No, I mean this guy has an insane look.
This is stressing me out.
And yeah.
It's stressing me out.
Well, it's also I don't understand what his legs are doing.
He looks like Fat Bastard.
Mm-hmm. 700
It's
pound
literally
man
just Fat Bastard.
who plays video games all day.
Is he good at gaming?
He has to bathe outside like a pig. Oh, sorry. This was on the series Family by the Ton,
Oh.
a spinoff of the TLC reality series My 600 Pound Life.
So he didn't lose the weight and he got a spinoff.
Yeah.
They're literally killing these people.
Yeah. I mean, the show's like pretty depressing. I mean, they have
I can't watch it because it's so stressful.
again. I've been
And the music is stressful. It makes it more stressful.
I've never watched it consistently, but it seems like there's a therapist on there now that there wasn't before. I don't recall that when watching it years prior.
To like drill into the trauma.
Yeah, they have a therapist named Dr. Paradise, who
Badass.
comes off like he has like a mental insufficiency. He's like, so why'd you start eating so much? And then they'll be like, oh, I was molested. And he's like, oh, wow. Okay. So how did that make you feel? And he's always got this like weird half smile.
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
And they're like filling up the other side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. That show and Hoarders, I can't take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.